ado, welcome everybody. Thank you guys so much for joining us again for another Monday meetup with the Health Museum. My name is Katie Barber. I'm our membership manager. And for those of you who haven't had a chance to meet, tonight I have with me Senior Director of Guest Experience, Becky Seabrook. And we have one of our dear friends from Houston BCycle, Abby Fernandez. So tonight, we really wanted to talk to you guys about our really exciting new exhibit. It's called Gear Up, the Science of Bikes. It has been open at the Health Museum for 1 week exactly. Can't believe it's already been a week. And we are really excited to share with you some extra tips, really focusing on the safety aspects of biking. I know before we got started with the conversation this evening, we were talking about the weather and how much more dangerous it can be while you're riding bikes, and just how popular biking has become, especially during the current pandemic. So thank you, Becky and Abby, for joining us this evening and being able to share a little bit of expertise about bikes.
No problem.
Well, Becky, you are really the mastermind of bringing exhibits to the Health Museum. What made you decide on selecting Gear Up? I mean,
I love the mastermind. I look for, I mean, right off the top, we look for exhibits that just really fit well with our mission. And I think bicycling or cycling is just one of those, bicycles are just such an iconic part of our culture, but it's also such an amazing way to stay fit, stay healthy. So that was kind of right off the bat. I was sort of intrigued when I found out about this new exhibit, but it's really very cool. I love that it wasn't just about fitness, but it also really brings in the history of bikes, which I knew very little about, as I found out how much they've had an impact on our culture. But also being a science institution, they do a really good job of using a bike, which many people are very familiar with, to teach all sorts of science concepts. Things like Newton's laws of motion and density, and actually really important topics for students to understand, and they make it very approachable and very accessible. So I thought that was also a really cool thing. But I think beyond that, we've really been looking at some of our partnerships with organizations like BCycle, which is doing such an amazing job of making bikes accessible to people throughout Houston. With the Environmental Defense Fund, who we're working on a project about air quality, and bikes are such an amazing way to get around, such an amazing type of transportation that are healthy not just for the person riding it, but for the other people in the community. So I just think there were a lot of reasons. And then just from an exhibit standpoint, I thought it was a very attractive exhibit, and it's very easy to interact with for people of all ages. So I thought it was a really good fit for us.
Awesome. And you are an experienced bike rider yourself.
Kind of. I mean, I've been biking for a long time. But yeah, I do. I really like biking, and developed even more of an appreciation for it while our family was living over in Europe. And I have to say, I was really excited to get back to Houston in 2016 and see all of the really amazing things that had happened to make biking a safer and an easier thing to do in Houston, whether it was, the trails along the bayou and the new bike lanes and the bike share program. So that was really cool to come back and see that.
Absolutely. And Abby, I feel like that's a good segue to your expertise, being the community outreach manager with Houston BCycle. You guys have been extremely busy really since the project launched, wouldn't you say?
Yes. So we've been, ever since having just 5 stations just in downtown, now we have over 113 across the city. And our main mission is to give people an equitable, affordable, fun, healthy public transportation option, not just to, of course, going just around the parks, but also they can use to go to work, they can use to commute, to go get groceries, and working hard with Houston Parks Board, with different other organizations, especially with around the example, the Health Museum and other universities, and try to get people to utilize bike share and fund new programs. And I'm excited that, we can offer this program to as many people and getting people just educated on how it works.
Absolutely. And I know that a few of us at the Health Museum as staff, we've really enjoyed our new station that's right on the corner of Herman and LaBranch Drive. It seems to have become one of the new biggest hit stops for BCycle. I know you shared that just over the last 6 months during the current pandemic that our station has become one of the more popular stations. And I've definitely noticed anytime I'm like walking around the museum or running through Herman Park, we almost don't have any bikes left at our station because once someone gets checked in, someone is waiting to check it out, which is so awesome to see that many more citizens taking advantage of the program. And you guys have done a really good job of sharing with the community the safety protocols that you've put in place during the pandemic. Can you talk to us a little bit about what are some of the measures that you guys had to take back in March?
Yes, so we've got a huge rise in ridership. So what we've done is trying to fix as many bikes as possible. Since how you were just saying that a lot of bikes have been taken and of course being used, so a lot of people just normal wear and tear. So since COVID, we've gotten a lot more mechanics to try to have the best kind of bike experience they can have instead of having any issues with the bike. So that's definitely been one of our priorities. A second one is I've managed a sanitation team, so getting ambassadors, getting volunteers, and then ambassadors that we would pay as well to go around disinfecting and sanitizing and cleaning as many stations as we can. One of the things too, whenever the pandemic started, was we wanted to follow the CDC rules and, having the 6 feet distance apart and, not to overcrowd any big areas. So we did stop for the first 2 months as soon as like the rise of the top 10 stations, which is in major parks. And that definitely showed the Health Museum station blew up a lot because the Herman Park station. But this is still like, I've looked and even in the data after we opened up all of the stations, the Health Museum is still a rise. So it's like perfect opportunity since the Health Museum now opened. So now we get to use our platform to tell people like, hey, since you're already docking your bike at any of the stations, you could definitely go, sorry about that, to our BCycle station in the Health Museum. So yes.
Absolutely. And you mentioned that you guys are getting ready to actually put in 10 news stations, correct?
Correct. So we're super excited. We're having it the next 10 in the end of December. So by the end of this year, we're going to add 10 more. And another big addition is we're going to add 100 electric bikes. So as you can see, all of it is within 610. We do have a couple stations out by Katy, as you can see, Memorial City Club. 2 other stations near Lake Houston, which is very far out there. So hopefully some other people can use that. But yeah, our e-bikes can be utilized throughout the city, throughout, going from one part of the Midtown to Heights to downtown to the museum district. So that would be very beneficial for people to, get to one place and another. And I love that there's new bike lanes next to the Health Museum that people can utilize.
Yeah, we were excited to see that improvement as well.
Oh my gosh, yes. I loved it.
Now Abby and Becky, you two both have experience not only riding bikes just for your own leisure and ways to stay fit physically and with your mental health. What are some key tips that we could share to our members that maybe aren't as familiar with riding bikes? I know, your basic equipment that you'll need is obviously a helmet. What are some other safety tips just from, are there certain ways to hand signal when you're riding in a road lane, or what are some tips for some of the riders that may not be as familiar?
Well, one of the tips I could start off and then Becky could come in, is that, of course, definitely safety in numbers and visibility. A lot of the accidents are happening. It's because either person is not visible enough. So one of the main things we want to tell people is to take the lane. And I know that there's some designated bike lanes, which is perfect. But if there's any kind of intersection, to make sure that you're known and make sure that the drivers or anybody around you know where you're heading. So as Becky and you and all of us can know that taking your right hand out, left hand out, showing the exact direction, and an easier one is picking your left hand up, going to where you're going to the right. But Becky might have a little bit more since she lived in a bike-friendly city too.
Yeah, I think the visibility point that you bring up, Abby, is so important. I noticed driving through a neighborhood, especially when people pulling out of the driveways, never to assume that they can see you. And even when there are stop signs for vehicles coming in the other direction, never to assume that people are going to stop, because I feel like there's still, I think we still have a pretty steep learning curve in terms of bikes and cars coexisting peacefully and safely on our streets. So to me, I think that that's really important. Hopefully we'll get to that point where people are more used to seeing bikes on the road, and drivers have a better sense of kind of what the rules of the road are, and when bikes have priority and when cars have priority. But I think just realistically, that's still really important.
Yeah, that's a really great tip, especially for a week like this week, where we're getting tons of rain and the visibility isn't that great. Abby, you were kind of starting to share a story that, you know, I wouldn't think that there would be a lot of riders during heavy rain like this, but you've actually seen riders still going out even through hurricanes?
Yes, so even no matter what, people still need to get to one place to go to another, and of having, you know, a reliable transportation option instead of, you know, getting stuck in a car in the flood. Of course, you could still get stuck on a bike, but we just want to show people that they can still use any different transportation option. If any of the bus systems are closed or bike share systems are closed, I mean, we want to still be able to give people to one place to one. And actually, one of our board members does not have a car at all and solely relies on public transportation, which is even my partner Henry definitely is trying to give away his car up to try to use public transportation in a city that solely, there's so many ways to get around.
That's fantastic. What a goal to have.
I know, I love it.
That's impressive in a city like Houston.
I know.
Yeah. Well, Becky, I know in addition to bringing gear up into the Health Museum, getting the exhibit up and running, we're actually working on kind of a series of a full day experience at the Health Museum. The dates haven't been released, but do you want to share a little bit of a teaser with our audience of what that day might look like?
Sure. And so we're looking at sort of creating an experience where people can really make a day of it and enjoy not just the museum, but also this beautiful, amazing area that we're lucky enough to have our museum in. So yes, it's an experience where not only do you get to come and get your ticket into the museum to see Gear Up and some of the other exhibits that we have, like Outbreak, but then also to, while you're at the museum, pick up your picnic basket that then you can just walk across the street to Herman Park, have a picnic in the park, and when you're finished with that, can jump on one of the BCycles in the area and just tour Herman Park or some of the really beautiful bike trails that we've got around this area. So yeah, we're excited about it, and I know as someone with some older kids, I'm really looking forward to doing this with them. I think it's a great opportunity, whether it's people out on a date or a group of friends or family, to be able to take advantage of it. So yeah, we're pretty excited about it.
Awesome. I know the Health Museum launched our latest physical activity series called Bike for the Health of It. And the entire group that rode this past Saturday all absolutely agreed. The only thing that could have made that ride better was a picnic at the park afterwards and then getting to walk through the museum. So I know we're all really excited for those dates to drop and to be able to reserve our picnic basket. I mean, it's so convenient.
Yeah. And Laura here at the museum has such an amazing job on the picnic. I was lucky enough to get to sample some of it, but yeah, it'll be really nice at both vegetarian and non-vegetarian options. So we're really excited.
Awesome. And with that, Abby, you've been equally as busy with some of the events that you've been able to slowly pick back up on with, social distancing in mind. Tell us a little bit about what you guys have going on in October.
Yes, so we were going to have an e-bike launch event, but of course, we did have supply chain issues. But one of the big events that we are going to have that I highly recommend everybody to join is our Unicorn Art Bike campaign. So we partnered with 10 local artists around different parts of the neighborhood in Houston to paint a mural celebrating their culture and their neighborhood, as well as painting a BCycle. And so we're going to have a big event that's going to be October 10th at Sawyer Yards, the second Saturday, with food and drinks, of course, mask required. And yeah, we want to help these local artists showcase their artwork and their dedication and love to their own neighborhood, as they can have hundreds of millions of people that use our bike share, from visitors to, local, our family members, to just ride our bikes to any of the parts of the city. So it's definitely more visibility for them. And even our bikes actually get ridden 3 times more than the regular red standard bikes. So it's gonna be really fun seeing some cool art bikes, and we want everybody to join.
Absolutely. So the goal is to be able to find one of the unicorn bikes.
Yes, we currently only have 4 right now out of the 800. We're gonna add 10 more, but yeah, later on we do have a campaign to work with other organizations to help fund local artists, and we will supply the bike. So yeah, that campaign is constantly ongoing. So if anybody ever wants to fund an artist to paint a bike, we definitely encourage it. It's a really great project.
That's very cool, Abby.
Yeah.
Next, we just need some universities to pay for some bikes, and then that would really be cool. A university challenging another university, having a U of H bike at a TCU campus, and it's some of it's fun and games.
Well, by the way that Houston BCycle has been expanding over the last couple of years, I definitely think you guys will be there in no time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I know another event that you guys were looking forward to kind of hosting tomorrow has actually been postponed. So for those of you that don't know, today actually kicked off National Bike to Work Week. And the city of Houston and Houston BCycle has dubbed tomorrow originally as Bike to Wherever Day, but due to the tropical storm Beta, they've postponed it to next Tuesday, correct?
Correct. So it's going to be next Tuesday. We're offering everybody in the city, we're putting it in all of our different campaign and our media outlets, to use just the code 92220. So it's going to be, of course, tomorrow's date, September 22nd, 2020. And of course, we'll send it off on an email after this, that code, but definitely use it. Follow us on social media. Yes, thank you, Katie. Follow us on social media, and you can use it at any BCycle station. And this gives you a free 30-minute ride. And so I've definitely calculated it, and it takes just 30 minutes to get from downtown to the Health Museum. So y'all should definitely check it out there. So you can, calculate your trips there and wherever you want to go, even to the trails, the Buffalo Bayou, or even farther different parks around McGregor or East End, so you can practice some social distancing.
Awesome. Well, I know I'm looking forward to it, and hopefully the weather will be better by then.
Yes, I think it will be.
Yeah. Well, until then, I know a lot of people are, still working from home, learning from home, might be going in. If you're looking for something to do while it's rainy, the Health Museum remains open this week, so we invite you guys all to come out and visit. We've actually decided to kind of stock our store with some bike-related items, and they're really fascinating. From repair kits to different books. Becky, you were just in there earlier today. What was kind of some highlight items that you were really excited about?
Yeah, there's some great new items and some more that'll be coming, including that waist bag, which is actually not just useful when you're riding a bike, but I found during COVID is not carrying around bags and things like that. It's a great way to carry your wallet and keys and things like that. So I was actually eyeing that today because my other one is pretty beat up. But yeah, that personal repair kit, you never know on a bike with Houston roads when you might need a repair kit. Reflectors that can be put on bags or on the bike, a little pump for wheels, because I think as my family has found, oftentimes we're ready to go out for a bike ride and we realize the wheels can, the tires can use a little bit of air. So lots of really cute little stuff related to bikes, as well as a really cool selection of other stuff. So yeah, the Amazing Body store staff and visitor services staff have done a really nice job at pulling together some cool stuff.
Oh, fantastic. And if you guys haven't been in the newly renovated Amazing Body store, it's really refreshing when you walk in, especially if you've seen the store previously. We've got tons of new items. I'm actually really excited about the small repair kit because the size is just totally convenient, and even the extra reflectors. I know some of the biking safety equipment pieces have been a bit challenging to find this summer, while biking is just, one of the most popular outdoor activities that we have. And you'll even notice that we've got some information on your BCycle membership. Members, if you don't currently have a BCycle membership, you now can get 25% off their annual membership using the code HEALTHM. The information was linked in today's event invite, but be sure to kind of look out for those links. We're really excited to be able to offer that extra discount and benefit to our members to stay healthy and to stay active throughout the remainder of the year.
Yes, and definitely some of my favorite trails to even ride on is I always tell people to go to our website, and there's like fun trails along the new bayous that they're doing on TC Gesture, on Heights Mercantile. We have 2 new stations in the Heights, as well as even going near Guadalupe Park Plaza, which is kind of south of downtown, near the east end of downtown. And yeah, I've worked with the Houston Parks Board and Buffalo Bayou Partnership to kind of promote that new land bridge that they have not land bridge, but a new bridge going from the east end to downtown. So since a lot of businesses are still kind of shut down in downtown, it's a great area to bike in a little bit, a lot safer since there's less cars. So anywhere with less cars is where you'll see me too.
Absolutely. Becky, do you have a particular favorite bike route or area that you like to ride around with your kids?
Yeah, I do actually. I'm in the Heights area, and so I love that we can just jump on the bike paths now and get downtown. It's been a great way to get to some of the festivals and get the kids off of their screens. So yeah, the one that goes along White Oak Bayou down to downtown that's probably the one that I use the most. So sometimes it's fun just kind of riding around, and you never know when you're going to see a mural, and so it's almost like a scavenger hunt. Sometimes it's just sort of fun to get on a bike and sort of see where it takes you.
Oh, how fun. Yeah. Well, I guess I'm going to go ahead and open it up to any of our guests joining us tonight. Do you guys have any questions about how the bike share ride program with BCycle works, or do you have any questions about our new protocols of the Health Museum? We are open. We have been really thankful to have been safely reopened for a little over than a month now. I'm going to kind of open it up on the floor. If you have any questions for Becky and Abby, feel free to unmute yourself or drop them in the chat.
And I'll just say while we're seeing if there's any questions, thank you so much, Abby, you and your team for all you do. It's just really is a very cool thing to see happening in Houston. So, and I love being able to take advantage of it when I've got to go down to the medical center for a meeting. It definitely beats having to find a parking spot down there.
Oh yes, that's one of the main, kind of draws that I get people is like, instead of parking, $10 a day in downtown, and if you live in Midtown or live somewhere, definitely use a bike share.
Yeah.
And I know that a lot of bikes are being sold out recently because of the pandemic, and people, so the only my favorite part. I mean, the only thing that I like about the pandemic is that people are outside more.
Yeah.
The only thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it looks like we don't have any questions so far, but Carol shared that her favorite bike ride is in the Brazos Bend State Park. I actually haven't been out there in years, Carol. What is your favorite part about riding through the state park?
It's just you get to see alligators, and it's a beautiful ride. It's birds, just lots of things. It's country riding, not city riding. It's totally different.
I see. So if we're looking for a change of pace and maybe a little bit of off-road terrain, we can head out that way.
Yeah, it's worth it. It's worth the ride to get out there.
I've had people say the same thing. I haven't been out there yet, but I guess I'll have to check it out maybe this fall.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome. Well, Becky and Abby, I do want to thank you guys both so much for sharing a little bit of your expertise and your evening with us. And I want to thank all of our members here at the Health Museum for joining us again for another evening. We hope that you have a few takeaways, and we hope to see you out riding a bike with BCycle. If you have any questions about your membership or the new member benefits, you're always welcome to contact me at membership@thehealthmuseum.org. And we hope to see you at the museum sometime. Definitely come check out our newest exhibit, Gear Up the Science of Bikes. It'll be open now through the middle of May.
Nice. Thank you so much for letting me on to this. And I definitely enjoyed this partnership and can't wait to continue more. And anybody that needs any more questions or as soon as events start happening, we love to get more people to bike ride. And we always do some free bike rides throughout the year. So follow us on social media for some codes.
Absolutely. Thank you so much again, Abby and Becky.
Night all.